Stress is pretty much a part of all of our adult everyday lives, whether it's work, bills, planning vacations or time off, or just normal household stressors. Arts and crafts can be an awesome way to relieve some of this stress. One of my personal favorite crafts to do is to tie-dye. Tie-dyeing is a fun craft that involves these following steps. First, you're going to prepare your area and gather all the correct materials. Second, you're going to choose the pattern that you want your shirt to look like, and then you'll fold your shirt to form that pattern. 3, you'll apply rubber bands to the shirt, and then you'll apply the tie-dye. And 4, you'll place your shirt in a bag and let it sit overnight in order for the colors to soak into the shirt. Lastly, you'll rinse your shirt and then you'll let it dry. So here, we're going to start with gathering all your correct materials. I have a cotton shirt. It can be any color, but as long as it's cotton, that's the best shirt to use when you're tie-dyeing. I had a tie-dye kit that I got from Walmart, which was only $4. It came with these colors here, rubber bands, and gloves. Lastly, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have a trash bag, and I'll explain why that's part of how I'm going to keep it kind of mess-free. Second, you want to prepare your area. So I have a towel laid down here because I'm doing it in the house. You could also do it outside if you'd like. However, I'm going to do it in the house because it's freezing out. Also, I'm going to use this trash bag. As soon as I'm done getting my shirt formed, I'll put the trash bag down, and then I'll tie-dye inside the trash bag. That way, when I'm done, I can just pick the trash bag up and take it outside, and no mess. All right, let's move on to the next step. Now we are going to decide what pattern we'd like to do, and then we're going to form the shirt into the pattern in order to tie-dye it. So one of the most common patterns is a spiral, which is like the shirt I have on, and that's the one I'm going to choose today. However, there are many, and you can research them online and figure out which one you'd like to do. In order to do the spiral, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure your shirt is completely flat. You're going to pick a point wherever you want the center of the spiral to be on the shirt. I'm just going to pick the center because I think that's the easiest. You're going to make sure you have both sides of the shirt in your hand, and then slowly twist the shirt so that it comes together. All right. When you're done, it'll be in the form of almost a disc. Kind of actually looks like a hurricane, if we're being honest. Next, you're gonna apply your rubber bands. This part can be kind of tricky, but as long as the rubber bands are on there and you tie-dye within the folds, everything will turn out fine. So, even if your disc kind of does come disformed, right? So we'll put one on here. You want to use at least 3 rubber bands if you're using 3 different colors. That way you can put 2 colors in each section. I'm going to use 4 because I think it'll be easier, and I just want to use 4. That's just what I want to do. You can use as many as you want. Okay, so if I apply 4 rubber bands, it should look kind of like a pizza when I'm done, cut into slices. Okay, so it looks like this, and you can just tuck the ends right in here. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and so this is about what it would look like when you're ready to tie-dye. So our next step would be to apply the dye. So now I'm going to grab my trash bag. Open it up, place this in here. So that way when I dye, all the dye will run in the bottom. Now I'm going to grab gloves because if you don't, your hands will be tie-dyed for days, I can assure you that. Okay. Right, and it doesn't matter what colors you start with. You can do whatever you'd like. That's the kind of the fun thing about tie-dye. There's really no rules. All right, so when you're tie-dyeing, you want to make sure that as you're tie-dyeing the shirt, you get in between the folds really well. If you don't get within the folds really, really well, your shirt will pretty much be white with a little bit of color on it. All right. And then you can open the folds in there to make sure you get in. And make sure you do both sides of the shirt. If not, one side of your shirt will be white as well. Okay. Get nice and in the folds there. I'm we'll do one more color just for demonstration, but then after that, you pretty much get the point. See how I'm opening them up and making sure the color goes all the way down to the center of the shirt. All right. So next, what you're going to do, and I need to grab it because it's in this drawer over here. Is you're going to take a large gallon freezer bag and place your shirt inside of it overnight. Obviously yours would be completely colored, it wouldn't only have 2 colors on it. And you try to get all the air out, and then you'd seal it because you want to keep the moisture in there. The more moisture that's in there, it means the deeper the colors will form to the shirt. Alright, so this would be your finished product for these steps. This would sit overnight. And then, once you're done in the morning, what you would do is you would take this back out of the bag and you would run it under cold water in your kitchen sink for about probably 2 to 3 minutes or until the water runs clear. You want to make sure that there's no more dye coming out of the water or coming out of the shirt. Once that's done, you take all the rubber bands off and you reveal your pattern. So an example, obviously, is the shirt that I'm wearing here, or your shirt could look like this. This is a different pattern, it's the bullseye pattern. But either way, you're always gonna have a different pattern and it's always gonna be very unique. Then, after you reveal your pattern, you're gonna hang your shirt up to dry for at least 6 to 8 hours. And then after that, you can go and show off your groovy shirt to all your friends and family. In conclusion, tie-dyeing includes these easy steps. First, you're gonna prepare your materials and your work area. Next, you're gonna choose your pattern and fold your shirt. 3, you're gonna apply your rubber bands and tie-dye. 4, place it in a bag and let it sit overnight. And then lastly, you're gonna rinse it out until there's no more dye running off the shirt. And then you're gonna let it dry. And then that completes the tie-dye process. So be sure to share this fun process with your friends and family, or if you just want a fun activity to do when you're feeling a little stressed.